Hey guys, so today's ear tutorial is actually a 2-for-1. I'm going to be showing you guys two options for making rainbow sets of Mickey ears. The first is this pastel beaded, almost candy looking type, and the second features a floral rainbow crown as well as a bunch of our favorite Disney princesses. So if you're interested in seeing how I made these ears, then just keep watching. So let's get started with pair number 1, which is this beaded and pom-pom rainbow set of Mickey ears. The base of these ears is made of floral wire. Now I got a pack of floral wire in gold, bronze, and silver off of Amazon. I will have it linked in case you guys want to use it, but you can also pick it up at a craft store or Dollar Tree. And the key is just that you want it to be bendable and pretty easy to work with. After that, I wrap it around a 4-inch diameter candle, which is any Bath & Body Works candle. And then I use a set of ears that I have on hand in order to kind of get the general shape of the bottom, and then I cut off the excess wire. Now this wire is super bendable and pliable, so it probably will get bent out of shape while you're working with it, but you can always reshape it when you get closer to being done. I'm going to be using these pastel rainbow pony beads. I picked these up at Walmart. I know that Joanns and Hobby Lobby also have a ton of colors of pony beads, as well as Amazon. And then I'm just laying them out in a pattern that I like, and I'll just continue this pattern as I go. Now when you're stringing these on, you really only need to do the top of the ear. I did not include beads on the bottom of the ear because I knew that that would make it so much harder to attach this ear to the headband. I am going to speed this up though and cut ahead to having enough beads on the ear. So now you can see I've added a bunch more, and I'm going to hot glue these to keep them in place on one side to start. So I'm just doing a dot of hot glue and then sliding down the bottom bead into the hot glue and letting that totally set and dry. Once that's dry, I start working on the bottom portion of the ear where the wire is in order to twist it back together and close up my ear to make it one solid piece. And then bringing back on a headband of ears that I've already made, I'm just using that in order to shape the bottom of the ear to better fit the headband. So the headband has a curve to it, and obviously you're going to want to replicate that on the wire. Once I have that all shaped out, I'm using another dot of hot glue on the other end of the beads to glue that bead in place as well, so that these don't shift around and slide where I don't want them. If you don't have a set of ears to use for reference when you're making this set, you can always print off the ear templates I have linked down below for you guys. They are the same shape of Mickey ear and sizing. Just make sure that you're using the ear sewing line or the ear foam and batting, because those are going to be the most similar to when the ear is actually done. And this is one complete ear, so obviously you're going to want to repeat these steps and create a second one for your headband, and then we'll move on to the next step. So now that you have two of these, we're going to go ahead and attach them to our headband. I do have the headbands that I prefer linked down below for you guys, but I'm using my ear spacing template, which is also linked down below for you guys in case you need it, just to get the right spacing between the ears. These are a little tricky to attach because you're basically going to hot glue the ear on like you would any other pair that I've ever made before, and then firmly hold the ear down on the headband. Sorry that I'm out of frame right now. I'm just holding the ear in place. And then I have these little clips from Dollar Tree, and these are a lifesaver. They come in a 6-pack and they're $1.25. Definitely pick them up next time you're at Dollar Tree. But I'm using those to hold that ear in place while the glue dries a little bit more. And then to further secure this, I'm going to be using this black satin ribbon because it matches my headband. And I'm going to use this to wrap around the bottom of the ear in order to further secure it. So just using a dot of hot glue to attach the ribbon to the headband first, I am going to then continue hot gluing as I wrap this ribbon around. So just using a little bit of hot glue at a time, I will wrap the ribbon around the bottom wire and push it through the center of the ear, and then continue this all the way around. You want to pull the ribbon really tight because, again, this is providing like a good secure hold between the ear and the headband. And then obviously you'll continue this step to attach your other ear. If you cut your ribbon too short, like I did just now, you can always just cut off another piece of ribbon. Just make sure that you're using enough hot glue to fully secure the additional pieces. Originally, I thought I was going to do a flower crown on this set of ears, but I called Kala in just to see what she thought, and she actually had the idea of using little pom-poms on the crown to further this idea that it almost looks like candy, because she said that it reminded her of like those candy bracelets and necklaces. So I really did like her idea. So I do one layer of mostly pastel pom-poms that I had on hand. And then I did decide to add super little tiny ones on top, which you guys are going to see in a moment. But I'm just hot gluing them in a pattern on the front and the back of the headband. So this is what it looked like with the first layer of pom-poms, and obviously you could stop here, but I had already picked up this set of tiny pom-poms, thinking that I could use it for this swap in the first place. So I did decide to kind of spill them out, and because they perfectly matched the larger ones that I already had, I just did a similar pattern, and I thought at first maybe I'd place them on the front, but I really liked how they looked on the tops because they almost make them like little Mickey heads. So I just kind of laid it out how I liked it and then glued those in place as well. And that is the last step of this ear tutorial. I really hope you guys like these. I thought they came out super, super cute, and they were just kind of a different way of doing Mickey ears. But obviously we have a whole nother set to create, so let's move on to pair number 2. For this set, I had this princess fabric on hand, and I wanted to use it so badly, but I just could never commit to a project to use it for. But realizing that it had all the princesses, and it very much is rainbow when you look at it, I thought it was perfect for this ear swap, and it was going to allow me to create the flower crown that I wanted to do earlier. So using the largest ear template linked down below for you guys, you're going to trace 4 of these onto the fabric. I am tracing onto the right side, meaning the front of the fabric, so that I can see which faces I'm getting and make sure that I'm not, you know, just making, like cutting out half the princesses when I want to use all of them. And then after tracing that, I'm going to go ahead and cut all 4 of those out using my rotary blade and mat, but obviously you can use fabric scissors if you have those. In addition to the 4 fabric ears, you are also going to need 4 felt ears and 4 cardboard ears. So using that same largest template that you used for the fabric, trace that onto a sheet of felt and cut out 4 felt ears. And then also using the smallest template, the foam and batting template, go ahead and trace that on cardboard and cut those out as well. So again, it's 4, 4, and 4. For assembling these, you're going to start with the felt and the cardboard, laying the cardboard on top of the felt and then doing a thin line of hot glue and folding over your felt and tapping it down onto the cardboard to allow it to dry. The reason I do the felt in between the cardboard and the fabric is because it gives your ear a much nicer structure, and it also makes the ear look a little bit higher quality as opposed to just putting fabric straight onto cardboard. It also helps give them another layer of protection in case you're like in the parks and get caught in the rain or something like that. Then you will continue hot gluing around the sides and folding over the felt onto the cardboard, leaving the bottom for last. I don't actually close up the bottom until I have already attached the fabric. For the fabric, you're going to repeat all those steps. I always like to start in the middle at the center because it helps me make sure that I don't get any weird puckering or rippling in the fabric. And just doing thin lines of hot glue, folding over the fabric and tapping it down into the hot glue, leaving the bottom for last. When you go to close up the bottom, I do find it helpful to cut the fabric in half and then fold over one side at a time into hot glue. I just think it helps limit the amount of buckling or puckering that you can get at the bottom of the ear if you don't cut it in half. And then this is what a fourth of an ear looks like. So after you have 2 halves created, then you're going to glue those together. Obviously, you're going to want to keep your hot glue centered on the ear, more toward the cardboard and less on the edges, because you don't want the hot glue to ooze out when you kind of combine this little ear sandwich. And just using a good bit of pressure and firmly pressing down, you're going to want to hold the ears together until you feel that glue completely cooled off. So if the ear still feels warm, I would maybe still hold it or put something heavy on top of it. For the trim on this ear, I really wanted to play up the red color in Ariel's hair, so I picked my red pom-pom trim for the accent. I love pom-pom trim. I think it is absolutely perfect because it just kind of inserts into the gap between the two ears, and then gives you this nice little texture on the edges. So if you're ever in doubt of what type of trim to use, try to pick something thick, either like a braided trim or a pom-pom trim. Tends to work for most designs. Next, we're going to go ahead and attach the ears the same way that we did the first pair, but this time it'll be a lot easier because you don't have to do the ribbon to further reinforce them. So using the ear spacing template, I'm just going to mark where the ears need to go, and then I'm going to apply hot glue to the bottom of the ear. Not too much because, again, you don't want it to ooze out all over the bottom of the headband. And then I'm going to firmly press it down onto my headband and hold it in place for at least 30 seconds to make sure that that glue has fully set and dry, and then I will repeat this step on the other ear as well. Instead of doing a bow, I really wanted to do a flower crown, and I wanted the flowers to go in rainbow order. I didn't have any true red flowers other than a red rose, and it just didn't look right with the rest of the flowers that I had. So I decided to use this kind of red orangey flower first, and then I have a peachy color one, yellow, and then for green, I'm just going to be doing leaves because there aren't really many green flowers. And then I have a blue flower and a purple flower. Attaching these is pretty simple. You just apply hot glue to the bottom of the flower and then firmly press it down onto the headband. Make sure that you have enough to do the front and the back though, because you're going to want it to look finished on both sides. For the leaves, I'm using kind of a mixture. I honestly just pulled leaves off of a stem of faux flowers that I already had, and then I also am using these almost I don't know, like eucalyptus type leaves that I had on another faux plant. I just cut off a couple strands. If the flower is sitting weird, sometimes you have to cut the stem pretty short so that it will lay flat on the headband. And then for the purple flowers, I'm using these bundle of flowers, so I actually had to glue down like 6 of them to make sure that they looked nice and full. So I'm just applying a little bit of hot glue and then gathering them and firmly pressing them down into the bundle of purple flowers that I'm creating. And then I repeated these steps on the back in the same rainbow order, having like the purple connect to the purple on the other side. Now, my first orangey red flower was a little bit too full, so I did trim off a couple of the petals because I didn't like how it didn't look balanced before going on to the back and gluing on the rest of the flowers. And after you've glued on the back portion of the florals, then you are all done. I thought these ears came out really cute, and they're so great for just a rainbow set of Mickey ears, and you get to showcase some of the princesses, which is really fun. So you guys have to let me know, did you like pair number 1 more or pair number 2 more in the comments down below, and leave me a little rainbow emoji if you made it all the way through this tutorial. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you in my next video. Bye!